If you're in a situation where you're doing all the pulling, you're doing all the effort, and she is not giving enough, she's not doing her part, you almost have to bend her arm to do the things to participate in the relationship. If you're in a situation where you think you're doing most of the work and it's not 50-50, man, take your ball, walk away and go play elsewhere. Take your dignity and your self-respect and your life and your sanity with you. Don't ever stay in a situation where things are forced. It's been ancient saying, if it doesn't come naturally, leave it. So if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're doing most of the work, you're doing all of the initiation, you feel like you know it when you're there. Unfortunately, when you're in a situation where you feel you are the one initiating everything, you're the one making all the calls, you're the one who are making all the efforts, all the communication, and it's like you have to say, oh, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? Where have you been? How come I haven't heard from you? Whatever. If you feel like it's not coming naturally, that it's not a like a tennis situation where you hit the ball and then she hits the ball and then you hit the ball and then she hits the ball. If it's anything short of that, I'm sorry. If it's even 51-49, that's not enough. A woman who cares about you, a woman who likes you, a woman who respects and values you is not gonna let you make all the efforts. We go a long way in achieving happiness, for lack of a better term, and sanity in our life when we admit the hard, cold, bitter facts to ourselves and move on. Initially, it's gonna be hard, like beginning to exercise, but once you've done it, you feel so good. Initially, it's going to be hard to disrupt things and upend things and move on. But once you do, you'll be very glad that you did. Don't stay in a situation where you're doing all the efforts, where you're doing all the pulling, and you have to bend someone's arm to participate. Believe me, in those situations, she's just with you while she's looking for a greener pastures. And you never want to be that person. You never want to be an option. You always want to be a priority. You always want to be the kind of person that she is pursuing, that she is actively seeking to be with. You don't want to be in a situation where you almost like forcing someone to be with you. Why would you want that? When you really think about it, why would you even want to be in a situation where you have to force things? And this also applies to situations where someone wants to break up with you and everything. The smallest amount of effort that you make to convince her, that is the biggest mistake you could make, to convince someone to stay with you and not break up. Whether it's a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship, whether it's the second time you're dating somebody, or whether you're in a 15-year marriage, it makes no difference. If somebody wants to go, let them go. Let them go. Don't beg. If they realize they made a mistake and they come back, well, in my opinion, you shouldn't even take them at that point either. Because the only reason women come back is because they couldn't find anything better, not because they genuinely loved you and they could and they found out you're the best person in the world. It's because they couldn't find anything better. Because remember, again, this is going to be a hard pill to swallow, but men are accessories and vehicles to women to get to where they want to go. They don't look at us men as we look at them. We are just a vehicle. We are just, the things that come with us is of interest to them, not us. You see what I mean? In other words, if somebody is dating a man, to make it very simple, that has a lot of success and money, and somehow that success and money is taken away from him and given to somebody else, then she will be interested in that somebody else. She's a human being. She might have some attachments and feelings, whatever, but she will go with that somebody else because that somebody else is now capable to take her where she wants to go from now on, and no longer you. So the point of this video was, if you're in a situation, and you know it when you're in there, you just don't want to admit it to yourself. If you're in a situation where you have to force things, where you're making all the efforts, where you're initiating all the calls, where you're making all the suggestions about things to do, walk away. Take your ball and walk away. Don't do that to yourself. And once you do, you feel so much better. Initially, at that moment when you're making a decision, it's a tough decision. But when you do, you feel so much better about yourself. You feel dignified. You've got your sanity, you've got your self-respect, and you feel better about yourself. And in the future, hopefully learning from that, you won't put yourself in those situations, and the moment you sense it, you walk out. And that's the kind of women, that's the kind of men that women respect, not the one that stays and accepts what he can get, but only the man that only takes what he wants and does not settle for anything less. All the best.